Okay.
Hello, and welcome to episode 29 of the Degenerates podcast. And
Whoa.
it's been a whole week since we've recorded.
Jesus, dude, a whole week.
Whoa! Actually,
Time just flew by, man.
that's a lie. We just recorded. We're recording 2 episodes in a row. Why? Because we are gonna go no internet for Christmas to New Year's, and next week we have. It's in the middle. It's in the middle of those times, so we can't.
Yeah, we can't actually upload anything because we can't access the internet.
Yeah, so it'll be easy for me. I'll just leave all my stuff here when I go back to Seaforth for the week.
Yeah, and I'll just take some books with me and go to Calgary.
Yeah. And
wait, I can't watch the in-flight movies, dude. No.
Why not?
It's the internet, isn't it?
Aren't they just like on a little TV thing that's in the...
I don't know, dude.
You can watch the movies that are like in there. It's like I'll still use my phone to text people, but I won't use the internet because how else would I make plans with people if I didn't text people?
All right, so just no internet. That's what.
Yeah, just no internet. Yeah.
Right. I guess
we're able to use screens.
Do need some like communication abilities.
Yeah.
You know, for organization and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair and doable.
That's my plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll get to hang out with people because it's like one of the things is getting to hang out more instead of being on the internet doing stuff. And what's the point if I can't text people to hang out?
Yeah, I guess. Gotta fucking do it like they did in the olden days. Just fucking send them a letter. Be like, hey, dude, want to hang out?
A letter. By the time they get that, I'm going to be on the internet again.
Hey, dude, want to go out, dude?
Send me a letter back. Let me know.
He just answers back, yeah. What time? It's like, how about the 3rd of June? It's like, yeah, sure. That's that's like, a few months away.
We'll go to Krabby Joe's.
Yeah, we'll go to Krabby Joe's, have a few drinks,
That was the time of the snail mail.
Yep.
No, well, actually, in the 1800s, they invented Morse Code, and then you were able to just fax shit at that point.
That was actually fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like that revolutionized the way we communicate.
Yeah. Do you know the story of how that guy? His last name was actually Morse, I think. But do you know why he created Morse Code?
Why?
It was because his wife. Or I think it was his fiance. He was out doing something far away, and then there were a couple letters that got sent to him about how his wife got sick, and then he knew that his wife got sick. Then a week later, it said that his wife had died, and then by the time he got back to the place, she had already been buried, and the funeral had already happened, and so he wasn't able to have any sort of closure or anything. So he wanted to invent something that would allow people to send messages really quick. So he invented Morse Code.
Wow.
And he invented this machine that then you'd be able to send messages like real far, real quick.
Mm-hmm. Telephone. Wait, no, not telephone, but like,
it would have been like telephone wires. Although it would be like,
or couldn't it be?
They didn't have telephones at the time, but it was like it would have been like fax machines.
Yeah, it couldn't be radio at the time either. Or I guess could it be radio?
No, radio. I think they were using radio in like the military in like the 1910s. But it wasn't really used commercially till like the 1920s.
Oh.
And that was late 1920s, I think.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that Morse code really did a number on how we actually communicate. It's amazing. You can just do it so fast.
Yeah. Well, you had to learn Morse code. You had to learn how to write English.
But there are also interpreters who are like, okay, here's my message that I want to send. Then you just like tap.
Oh yeah. But then you'd have to hire an interpreter.
Yeah. Well, I think they actually did that. I think that's actually what they did. They actually hired people to just like send their messages, and they made the messages so short because a character costs so much money.
Oh.
Like a single like letter costs or word or something.
Unless you know how to send faxes all by yourself, then you can just do it all by yourself.
Yeah, if you have the machine and you know how to do it, then you could do it yourself.
And then you could send a long message.
Yep, that's actually
early radio was a lot of Morse code too.
Really?
Not like the normal person wouldn't tune into a radio station and hear only Morse code. It would be music and stuff, but like talking to people on the radio, a lot of that was Morse code back then.
Oh.
And you'd have to listen to it, and you'd have to hear what they were saying through the Morse code.
Oh my God,
it was like awesome. Knowing a different language or something. Cool. That was how they did it in like the military. To be in the military, you had to learn Morse code back then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's essentially just another way of being bilingual.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's completely like learning another language. Like I was watching videos about learning it, and they were saying that those sheets that have the dots and the lines on it, you shouldn't learn Morse code through those. You should learn Morse code by listening to it and listening to what the letters sound like with the letters instead of looking at the thing. It's better to hear it so that you learn what it sounds like, and then you'll be able to do it because it's just the deet and the das.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. You can make an entire language using just two phonemes, two sounds.
Yeah.
Entire language. That's awesome.
And it's the same sound actually. It's just one of them is like half a second longer than the other.
Oh shit! Really? That's all.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. They're different lengths.
Oh, so it's like D-da. Yeah, that makes sense. The da is going to be a little bit longer. Or something like that. Vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's deet and da.
Deet and da.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Deet and da. That's like German. Shit, we've been seeing German the whole time.
So, where we're going with this, though, is that Morse code, me and Mike have learned Morse code, and that's the only way that we're going to be communicating this week when you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, we both learned Morse code. I actually developed a computer program to make Morse code for me, so I can just type into a computer and have it spit out the Morse code.
Yeah, we're going to use the telephone wires.
Yeah, telephone wires, send messages. We're also going to send each other letters.
And that's how this podcast is being recorded right now. Through letters and faxes and Morse code.
We're actually using deepfakes of our voices in order to make it sound like we're talking, but we're actually not.
Yeah, we're actually... That's what we're doing.
You gotta appreciate the little things.
Mm-hmm. Something else. I feel really more aware, I guess. Like...
Aware?
Like... This is remember last week when we recorded the podcast and the podcast went all over the place?
Yeah.
It was because I couldn't focus on anything that you were saying. And so then I just say whatever. That's a big reason why. But I think it was because of the end of the 3rd month nicotine withdrawal. And because now I feel like that whole we're recording 2 podcasts right now, if you didn't know, but the thing is that for the first podcast when you were talking about the complementary personalities, I kind of thought, hey, When you said that to me, I was like, oh no, this is going to turn into exactly the last episode where I can't pay attention and we're just going to talk about random shit. But we were able to hold the whole conversation, and I was actually interested in it, and I knew exactly what you were saying the whole time. I was able to focus.
Yeah.
So that's good. I feel alert, I guess. Not aware, alert would be. So that's pretty good.
I think that's a good attitude, actually. So, I think what it was is that maybe something about what I was saying actually was maybe sort of correct, or maybe it sort of struck a chord with you. And maybe in the previous podcast, it was more like, oh shit, I'm just completely fucking insane and don't know what I'm talking about.
What were we even talking about? Synchronicity?
Yeah, we're talking about synchronicity.
I actually think that's a pretty cool idea. That's actually pretty similar to what we talked about on the last podcast, isn't it? Complementary personalities and synchronicity.
So it just seems to me that I don't think it's synchronistic. I think, because synchronistic is like trying to explain the unexplainable. So like why someone would think there's like a ghost in the house. Like where did that idea come from? Where does the ghost in that haunted house come from? It's like, it's
probably because we heard something. And then
sensation.
And then nothing was there, and we didn't know how to explain it.
Yeah. So we create different things that actually aid us in understanding the world, even if they're wrong. I think that's the role of the intuitive introvert, is that they try to explain these things. They can kind of see these things, and it's like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's like, what's going on here? And they investigate it, and then it's like, oh shit, wait, this thing is happening. I think this thing is happening, and so they share it with other people. The extroverted intuitive types, and then they actually propagate this idea, and they actually act it out, and if it's true, if it actually like works, then it's incorporated into the society as a whole.
We're getting too far off topic. We're supposed to be talking about staying off the internet.
Right, staying off the internet.
Yeah, so now we've gotta give our 10-step plan so other people can follow our lead, and they can stay off the internet for a week. So what's the number one thing that you should do when you stay off the internet?
Probably have some source of information. Just a source of information. Like, so that can be people or books or something along those lines. Because that's what's important to me is information. So I need to have something like that.
Newspaper,
yeah.
What's
going on in the world?
I really want to start reading the newspaper, but I haven't started reading the newspaper because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent way to kind of like stay up to date and all that.
And they talk about stuff, like the cool thing about the newspaper is on the internet, I have to look something up in the news if I want to read more about it. But the newspaper will tell me stuff that I didn't even know was going on, and I didn't even have to look it up.
Yeah. It's the same thing with like news channels. They're just like, show you like, hey, here's what's going on. There's a scrolling bar at the bottom of the screen that tells you, all the extra stuff that we're not talking about right now. Oh, yeah, I never read the bars though. But I guess there's also like news channels on YouTube. And you could, I was going to say you could go to the website of the newspaper or whatever, or news website, but most of the time, like the reputable news sources, you have to pay to read the website anyway. God. So it doesn't really matter. You might as well get the newspaper. It's information, dude. I have a right to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah, that's one reason why you shouldn't believe news you see on the internet is because if you're seeing it on the internet and you didn't pay for it, then it's probably not from a reputable source.
Yeah, it's just a fucking journalist being like, "Hey, this happened, so like this is what I think about it." I think it's a natural kind of response to just do something like that. It's like, all right, well, here's this thing. Now, how do I feel about it? How does this affect me? How does this affect other people? It's like just natural response to, public happenings.
Yeah. Did you know that Donald Trump got impeached?
I remember you telling me that he got the House.
Yeah, the House.
Yeah, so it's just the House, right?
Yeah, that's something that you'd probably know if you got the newspaper. But
yes,
if you just read news online, then you might think he's actually not impeached. Or he actually is gone already, which is not. You see, that's the importance of getting off the internet and reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
Because Donald Trump isn't actually impeached yet.
Yeah, a few sources were like, Donald Trump's impeached, we the liberals have won.
Yeah.
We are all powerful.
That was pretty much what I saw when I was like, oh shit.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Control over information from the masses. I'm becoming Alex fucking Jones, dude.
You know who's better than Alex Jones?
Who?
Newspaper you gotta pay for.
Fuck, Jesus Christ. At least Alex Jones's fucking rambling rantings are free. At least those were free, dude. Just give me the information. Just tell me what's going on. I just want to know.
I wanna know.
But so that's the main thing I think is like just having a source of information that you can draw from while you're, no internet, because the internet has basically replaced information, essentially. So if you just have another source of information, whether that be like, family members, friends, books, you just read those books.
Yeah, I think it's really important to keep making physical copies of everything because I don't think that the internet is good enough to keep everything on.
Yeah, it actually,
especially if something goes wrong, a whole portion of the cloud gets deleted or something.
Yeah,
hackers could run in and delete the whole thing. You don't know what'll happen.
You don't know what'll happen. It could even be a fucking solar flare that takes out the entire internet and technological infrastructure that we've built up thus far. Like, that could just happen, and it's just gone.
So, yeah, that's why I support physical releases of content.
Yeah. Maybe that's the one, maybe that's something that we actually, that is very important to us. We just need physical evidence of, knowledge.
Yeah.
So we can just propagate ourselves. We can just keep thinking and, improving our societies. Maybe that's how we do it. Is with ideas presented in a physical form, in a tangible way that other people can understand.
And the more things that are given to you in a physical way, the more things you'll still be able to do without the internet.
You'll learn practical skills, dude.
Yeah.
Learn how to pick up a fucking saw and make a table, dude. Just learn. Just learn how to do it.
Yeah. Learn how to make food. Learn how to cook. That's a pretty good skill. Nobody knows how to do it. Everybody goes to the fast food place, which is unhealthy, and it's more expensive than cooking your own stuff. Cooking your own stuff's actually pretty cheap to buy all the ingredients, and you can get them pretty cheap normally.
You can make literally whatever you want. That's a pretty big plus. You can make whatever you want.
To buy all the ingredients for one meal will probably cost you the same as it will cost you to buy fast food, but then you'll still have stuff left over to make other stuff or to make it again, and then you won't have to re-buy it for a little bit. The ingredients you bought.
Yeah, or repurpose those ingredients for another recipe.
Yeah.
There's just infinite possibilities.
Yeah, like right when you start, it might be expensive because you'll have to buy a whole bunch of ingredients right off the bat. But once you've got a whole bunch of ingredients, you're able to make a whole bunch of different stuff with just a few things. Yeah. And it becomes real cheap. Way cheaper than going out and eating.
Yeah. I only spend like $100 on food for every like 4 weeks, roughly.
4 weeks?
That's all I need.
Oh my god.
That's all I need.
Do you want to know how much?
Like 3 weeks. Maybe it's more like 3 weeks.
Do you want to know how much I spend on food in 4 weeks?
How much?
Probably like between $200 and $300.
Jeez, you just need to get yourself a Costco membership, dude. Just get everything.
Oh, you go to Costco?
Yeah, I go to Costco. I get.
Oh, well, that's why. That's why. Brad goes to. Yeah, we don't have Costco in Seaforth. We don't have it in Listowel.
Yeah,
I can't go to Costco. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Costco a lot.
Yeah, Brad goes. He gets a ride down to Costco.
Yeah, dude.
So
Costco's awesome. Has fucking everything. That's awesome. I love Costco.
And it has everything, and it's all bulk. It's all
a million.
Yeah.
You can get your own wine kits.
Yeah, when Brad started bringing stuff home, I was like, holy shit, these are huge packages that you're bringing home of a whole shit ton of food.
Mm-hmm. And he freezes it, and then, you know, I have a bad habit with Costco. You know, I'll go there and get the same thing every time. I just have a bad habit with that. I need to, you know, shake things up a little bit.
Yeah. No, Brad doesn't do that because he gets sick of food real quick, so he buys different stuff.
Yeah. Huh. But yeah, so what is the most? So you were saying we were gonna create like the 10.
Number two, get a Costco membership. Number 1, read a book. Number 3, go outside. Go outside.
Wow, outside.
Number 4 is learn Morse Code, I think.
Yeah, learn Morse Code.
Number 5 is hang out with your friends. Number 6, well, you can't. Well, learning how to code. I guess you could get a book that teaches you how to code, and then you can use your computer without connecting to the internet.
Yeah, or like learn code after.
After,
the internet's a very useful source for all things code.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about what to do off the internet.
I know.
You said learn to code.
I know, but it's still a useful skill.
Okay.
Anyways.
And so number 6 is spend time with friends. Number 7 is spend time with family. Number 8 is spend time with strangers.
Whoa. Didn't see that one coming. Yeah, that's important too.
Yeah. Number 9.
You don't know.
Number 9, go to see movies at the movie theater. Let's talk about that. And then we'll make up a number 10.
Movies. Yeah. So
I miss it. I have not seen a movie in a movie theater in a long time.
Neither have I. I think movies are kind of like is a method of which collective unconscious of ideas of the collective unconscious kind of gets into the public. I think that's a way they enter the public's mind.
One of the most popular ways today, other than the internet.
Yeah, exactly. And there's another. You can also make the same case for music.
Movies still make billions and billions of dollars, and books they don't make that sort of money.
No,
they don't.
Because a movie you can actually see what's going on. And it's very attractive to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because literally you can see how the archetypes that they use play out.
Well, I do think that you can see things in books. It's just you see them in your head, and I honestly think that's probably healthier. It's better for your imagination, I think, to create it in your head.
Okay, here's the thing. I think that's an attitude created by where your kind of like thinking power goes. I think you and I kind of are like introverts, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm more introverted normally.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can be extroverted. Depends on the situation.
Yeah. It's never truly black and white. There's always a little mix. So,
yeah, but more often I'm introverted.
Yeah. So the extrovert type places value on objects in like a tangible reality in the real world. And so by going to a movie, the extroverts can actually see how these archetypes play out. They can perceive them. And then these archetypes essentially influence their behavior. Like, why do you think some movies are considered like classics and just completely amazing and great? It's because they get something right.
Yeah. A lot of movies that are classics actually, now that I think about it, do end up... when you think about a lot of them, they're movies that end up leaving a lot to the imagination, and they don't explain everything.
Yeah.
And then people actually don't like movies that explain everything, now that I think about it, normally. Yeah. They don't like it when they're told everything.
Do you know a movie that actually does that?
Well, you like kids' shows and stuff.
Yeah. Kids' shows. Exactly. Frozen. Think about it, dude.
I like Frozen.
Okay, but you gotta admit, there's something off about it.
I don't know, like good. That.
Like I think, like it's just a pathological spin-off of like an archetype. It's just something weird about it. But it still appears to our archetype like pattern-loving brains because it's proposing an ideology which is essentially just like a hobbled, like crippled religion. Essentially, that's what an ideology is. It's a crippled religion. That's what it is.
Like a cult, the Frozen cult.
Yes, the Frozen cult.
That's a cult I'd join.
They indoctrinate children.
Do we drink Kool-Aid?
No, you drink goo made by the toy channels which prey on children. You just drink that. You just drink that goo.
And sometimes it is cyanide in it, but you don't know when.
Yeah, you don't know when. It just happens sometimes. Like, whoops. Well, Timmy's dead. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's why you should never drink it first. You make someone else drink it.
But since it's like goo, it doesn't like... You gotta wait for it to like set in because you gotta digest it a little bit. So even then, you still eat it because like a little bit afterwards, you see like, oh, they're fine. But they're actually not fine. They're still digesting the cyanide.
Okay, so what's number 10 on our list? You get to pick this one because I picked the other 9. All
right. So, pay attention.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to your surroundings, to your world. Pay attention to what's going on.
Meditation, really.
Meditation, sure. Yeah, you can think about it that way. Or you can just think about it in a way of like just, notice things. Try and notice things. Because I've seen that by kind of alienating yourself from your current situation, that it can have profound insights and realizations.
Like getting off the internet.
Like getting off the internet or discovering complementary types. Pay attention. Try and see what's going on.
Try and see what's going up.
Yeah, what's going up, what's going on.
Try and see what's going down.
Yeah, try and see what's bringing it. Try and see what's bringing us down and what's pushing us up. Try and see those two things.
Stand with your shoulders back and your back shoulders.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lobster.
Yes.
Have you read that
12 Rules for Life?
Yeah.
No, I haven't read it. I just hear people talk about it all the time.
Oh yeah. It's because the ideas are influential, dude. They get something right.
I watched PewDiePie's review of it, and he was. I remember the one thing that I remember from it is PewDiePie's realization that Jordan Peterson was a Christian.
Yeah.
He's
Or,
like,
well, the thing is, I think, like, from listening to his talks, it's not that he, like, is a Christian per se. It's more like he values Christian and Judeo-Christian values. Because these are the
like
values
Muslims.
of the individual. These are the values of the individual. We can't forget them. They're important to keep alive.
Yeah, he does like the individual and stuff. He was crying about it in the one video.
Yeah, because it's a serious problem. He's emotional about it, and rightly so. You know, the profound this kind of dichotomy of thinking. This Nietzsche actually characterized this problem in Greek culture. He called it the Dionysian versus the Apollonian.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that in another episode of this podcast in depth. Which episode was that?
Let me check.
It was the book club, wasn't it?
All right. Yeah, I think it was...
Yeah, it was the book club.
I don't know if... It wasn't... I think it was 15, was it?
No, we did it, and it was a recent episode. It was in the last few weeks.
I think it's 20.
I think it's 25.
Oh, 25. Right.
I think...
Oh, yeah. Rick and... Yeah. I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Frederick Nietzsche and Stephen Hawking, or maybe Rick and Morty instead of Stephen Hawking.
So, if you want to hear about the Apollonians and the other guys, the Dionysians, then go listen to that episode, because we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, it's late. Gotta go. Blast off. See ya.
Oh. Okay, goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week, or to us, it'll be 2 weeks from now.
Yeah,
but to you, it'll be 1 week.
Yeah, we're gonna not use internet.
Starting on Christmas, ending on
New Year's. All right,
okay.
Let's get this bread, boys.
Bye.
Bye.